Kingdom Newlands is an amazing game, and I'm here to tell you why. At a distance, it looks like a typical side-scrolling Kingdom game, where you build societies and eventually it goes from wooden box to lasers. Personally, that's what I thought I was getting into. This game gave me the vibe that you just built a society and had your walls high enough to keep everything out, but there are certain elements that I actually adored. This is one of those games where you actually appreciate games more for the experiences they can give you, because this game makes you think in the same aspect of Ragnar Lothbrok or Napoleon in the same 3 hours.
Enemies are many, my equals are none. In the shade of olive trees, they said Italy could never be conquered. In the land of pharaohs and kings, they said Egypt could never be humbled. In the realm of forest and snow, they said Russia could never be tamed. Now they say nothing.
I played the original version and the Norseland version, but that's when I realized this game is fucking awesome. The entire premise of the game is that you're the king or queen of whatever land as you grow your civilization from the ground up. The game gets pretty in-depth as it starts to actually develop in the characters and minions you summon. Like this guy right here is a spearman, but he can pick up a weapon or a tool in order to become a different unit. The units can vary on the land you choose, and with the land I chose being Norseland, I unlocked Vikings and Berserkers. I'm not going to scare you away with the technicalities just yet. What I want to show you is the raw experience I had while playing this game as role-playing as a king that was struggling, or someone who was so successful and so peaceful that he was being shovel-fed money by a civilian.
Look at this shit.
I'll make it clear that this is not a guide. I'm in no way a professional at this game. I've just been playing it long enough to where I think I can give some solid tips. The first part of this game is just a giant Floki simulator, as you're obsessed with building ships that are strong enough to take you to a new land. This is where you should have a sizable chunk of an army, and this is where you need to sacrifice some of it because you need to take down all the portals on whichever side has the dock. Taking down the portals can reap good benefits, but I never recommend it early on in the game because you're just adding on a blood moon to everything else, and usually that blood moon is stacked on top of the night, not an additional night. So typically you're getting a blood moon's worth of monsters and a night's worth of monsters. Essentially 2 nights stacked on top of each other is enough to knock all of your walls down because there is not a single amount of units that you can have that overnumbers the monsters. The next step being, after you assumingly have accumulated a size of an army and also your ship, is that you need to go to every single island and build a lighthouse. The lighthouses prevent the boats from crashing whenever they reach an island, which is very useful in every sorts of the game, especially since you're allowed to keep your ship no matter what. This method should be approached with caution because I have a distinct memory of when it did not work out for me. On that very island, the backlash to my own method hit me so hard I had to stop playing the game for about a month. What happened was that I docked the ship on the right side of the island and then I walked forward enough to see the back of a portal. This made me nervous because it let me know that every single portal on this island was active, but somehow I still had a lighthouse there, which immediately lets me know that my save is done. I was dead from the get-go the moment I realized that, because as I said before, when you take down a portal, it adds a blood moon to you, which is basically all the monsters at once.
Take it! Take it!
Now this is where I'm supposed to scare you away with the technicalities, but this is what I'm going to present to you. If you want to be at a point where almost every one of your civilians hands you a bunch of money, then I want you to follow the certain steps I give you. Pertaining to the first bit of advice, you want to sprint across the entire map right or left and figure out which side has the lighthouse. Of course, I made the mistake of going to the wrong one, so I had to stop for my horse to get something to eat to sprint all the way back. After building the lighthouse, what you want to do is start focusing on your civilization for a bit longer, because you need to start building until you're capable of having things called vanguards in the Norse version, but they're squires in the regular version. This is where you need to start doing things, but not tremendous things. It's not a total army, but what it is a small hit band of a vanguard and 3 rangers. That doesn't make it sound like much, but depending on whether side of your kingdom they're on, they can have a huge impact on your defense and your offense. The main difference between Norselands and the regular version is that instead of an architectural shrine, you have a logging camp, and that is what you use to upgrade your bases and your walls. My traditional tactic for this is to have as many walls between me and the big portal as possible, while having as many soldiers between me and the dock as possible, because the dock is way more important than actually attacking the big portal at any point in the game. Once you're done destroying the portals, hop your happy ass onto the boat and get going, because now you need to move to a different island and build a whole completely different lighthouse in a different spot. Each island is different, but the upgrades and improvements actually span across all of your islands and all of your bases too, so you could have really strong self-sustaining islands like I did where they could offer you reinforcements at bad times. Heed my warning at the beginning, because it actually can be very dangerous to do this method. Taking down the portals all on the dock side can make it where the monsters spill out from all the side on the left, making it where no number of walls can keep the monsters from getting in and killing you. That's why you almost immediately leave once you get the boat. Another aspect of the game is that you use gems in order to upgrade your base and your units, but these are a lot harder to use than gold and silver. Gems can be used to buy upgrades, or these things called hermits, which eventually offer you upgrades later on if you have the money. Up until this point, you've been playing like Ragnar Lothbrok. You've been prioritizing farmland and growing until you just wanted to help your people. But now, you're going to set up raids. You're going to go to each island, building smaller civilizations, and just building them till you can take down portals and build lighthouses for future runs. I call this the precursor technique because you'll really have one moment for something monumental that will affect the rest of the saves you have on this one playthrough for the rest of the game. That Clash of the Titan moments had everlasting effects because my king at the time had so much gold and gems that he lost so many that I was still finding them when I was taking down portals on other islands even. That's where the Napoleon feeling comes from for me. We are able to lead your giant army to the portal and avenge all the saves that you have passed since then. Each faction has certain powers that the king could use, and obviously since mine was preferred Norselands, I have the Viking ones such as Mjolnir and Sleipnir. After establishing your society, building your home base, building as many lighthouses as you can, and building the ship as best you could, the final thing is to build the largest army and take down the portal, finally establishing peace amongst all your islands at once. If you want to feel like the absolute king or queen that you are, then I highly recommend this game because it gave me that feeling that I could rule the world if I had the right tools at my disposal or if I was in a royal family of some kind. But I think that's really relatable actually with the way the world is, but how things are, I really enjoyed making this video. And with a kingdom I know will be safe without me, I can end this video happily. So I hope you all enjoyed and have a good day.
What? How can this be? Bested by this thing? You insignificant fuck! This is not over!